Hello, this is Serena McMahon with MassLive, and I'm here at Durfee Conservatory with Michael Formosi, the greenhouse manager, and he's going to give us a tour of the conservatory. It's located at UMass Amherst if you want to check it out. It's open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Michael.
Hello.
Thank you for being with us today. So, where are we right now in the greenhouse?
So we're in house number 5, which is the Succulents house.
Awesome. And what is a succulent?
Succulent, people are probably very familiar with cacti, which is a type of succulent. A succulent is basically any plant that can store water. So with the cacti, they're basically storing them in their stems. And then with these other type of succulents, they'll store the water in their leaves. So if we were to snap this open, you could actually see that.
So you don't need to water these very much, is that what you're saying?
Right. So with these particular ones, I probably only water them in the winter probably once a week, and then in the summer probably twice a week. Yeah.
So for people who are really bad at taking care of plants at home, do you suggest succulents?
These would be the plants as long as you have strong sunlight. So if you had a southern-facing window with a lot of light, then you could grow these, and then you'd have the advantage that you could forget about the watering most of the time.
And are these a popular type of plant, would you say?
Yeah, these are becoming more popular because out west what they're doing now is that they're what they call xeriscaping. So they're trying to use plants that don't use a lot of water. And so these would be the types that you'd want to use. And so because there's more interest in them out west, we actually see new cultivars being introduced every year out east. The other thing is these are also used for green roofs. You think about a roof environment, it can get very dry, intense sunlight, and these are perfect because what they basically do is they put a waxy coating on their leaves, they store water, they can take the intense sunlight, and they also have this ability to sort of colonize, so they'll spread and they'll almost completely cover the surface of the roof.
And are these all succulents behind you as well?
They are, and
Wow.
one thing I'll say is that often people see this collection and say, wow, that's a lot of different types, but this just scratches the surface. We're talking about thousands of different species and cultivars available of these.
Do you have a favorite succulent?
Favorite succulent? Well, actually probably the Hoya, which is this vine here that we have throughout the conservatory. It's sometimes called wax flower because the blossoms before they open look like they're pressed out of wax, and then when they do open, they sort of look star-like. And the best part of these is something you can't tell right now, but in the evening they exude a fragrance that is a mix between sort of chocolate and coffee.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
very
awesome.
interesting.
What was that called again?
It's a Hoya. It's a
Hoya.
H-O-Y-A.
And when I think of succulents, I think of these small plants. So it's interesting to see
A vine.
one that, yeah. Wow. And then what is this interesting looking one? This looks like dragon skin almost.
A type of Haworthia. And this is actually probably about 20, 25 years old now. They're slow growers, but then they sort of have this interesting flower stalk that they put up with rather small flowers at the top there.
And do those bloom, or are those
Yep.
just the
So
little
that's actually opening to bloom. Yep.
And how many succulents does Durfee Conservatory have?
Oh, we're probably looking here probably just over 200 different cultivars and species. If you want to see, this is actually where we propagate them.
And what does propagate mean?
Well, basically, over time, they'll get somewhat woody and not as vigorous, and so we'll want to repropagate them, which essentially means that we'll take a cutting off them and then we'll root it. With succulents, you can do that in two ways. You can literally just cut a branch. So if I want to repropagate this jade, which is a popular plant, I could actually just snap it off. Then I remove the lower leaves. And then instead of putting it right into the mix, I'd actually let it sit for about 2 days so that this area right here would dry out and callus over. And then once it's calloused over and dry, then I'd introduce it into a moist mix. And then the root the root would come out of that callus, basically. And that's what's happened here. So these were propagated probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so then just the stem cuttings, but then you can see that they've rooted.
How long did they take to root? 2 weeks, you said?
It depends on the type, but I'd say probably 3 to 4 weeks would be a safer bet.
Okay, folks who are just joining in, we are at Durfee Conservatory with greenhouse manager Michael Formosi, and he is showing us all around. We're in the succulent room right now, but now we are going to head to the next room.
Sure.
There's 5 rooms altogether, Michael?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. So what is this room considered?
So this is the collections room, and so what we have in front of us is a collection of pelargoniums, sometimes called scented geraniums. So basically they create an oil, and then if you rub the leaf and then you smell them, each one has sort of a different scent. And so this is actually a peppermint scented one, this is a coconut scented one, and this is a lemon scented one. And what they do is that they actually go into the wild and they find them, and then they smell them, and then they assign a fragrance to them. But it is amazing. For instance, the lemon one just smells just like lemons. It's
I'm going to give it a smell
Sure.
right now.
Yep, if you have to rub it.
Rub it. No. Oh, wow. Okay. Are any products made with this?
Yeah, so for years they would make perfumes out of these, and also teas out of them. Let me see. We have a fairly good collection.
How many plants are in this room?
In terms of the pelargoniums, we probably
Sure.
have about 20 to 25 different individual cultivars of pelargonium.
And how do you get all these plants?
Yeah, most of these plants, we've got sort of the common ones, and then we're looking for things that are unusual. And so mostly we have to get them through specialized nurseries. So almost all of that is online.
Oh, okay.
So these here, the recent ones we added to our collection, like the ginger scented and the nutmeg scented ones, those were from a specialty supplier up in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and we should probably show this particular plant. This is one of our most popular plants in the conservatory. It's called, scientific name is Mimosa pudica, or the sensitive plant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, reacts to touch, basically. You can actually get the seeds for this at any good nursery.
Really? What is it called again?
Mimosa pudica is the scientific name, and sometimes the common name is just the sensitive plant.
Okay. I'm kind of gonna try.
Yeah.
So basically you just touch it and
Yeah.
it closes.
Give it a good tap.
Oh,
actually.
I need to be, oh, wow, that is so cool. Wow. And what are these types of plants called again?
This is the collections house, so we have different collections of different plants.
Oh,
So
okay.
A collection of pelargoniums, a collection of passiflora, a collection of coleus.
And folks, you don't have to be a plant lover to come check this out. It's incredible in here. And if you think it's hot outside, it is hot in here too, but I'm sure it's awesome in the winter.
Oh, it's paradise in the winter,
Yeah.
basically. In the winter, it could be 30 degrees outside, but because we can shut the vents and get the solar gain, we could be 75 to 80 in here. And then you also have the humidity from the pond, and so it's very easy on the lungs. And then you also have the natural light coming in. So, yeah, we fill up all the benches in here in the winter, each winter day.
So this room is incredible. This is like a jungle inside, I would describe it as. So what room is this, Michael?
Sometimes referred to as the jungle room.
Oh, really?
Or
wow.
Or the tropical house.
The tropical house. Yeah, wow. This is incredible. And there's seating.
Plenty of benches.
So I'm
yeah.
sure the students love that,
Yeah.
especially in the winter, as he was saying. For folks just joining in, I am at Durfee Conservatory. It's located at UMass Amherst, and I'm with greenhouse manager Michael Formosi. He's just giving us a tour.
Sure. You might want to check out
Head this way?
Some of these flowers that are in bloom.
Oh,
Beautiful
wow.
Clivia and southern lily.
Oh, those are pretty.
Yeah.
And then you have this walking bridge.
Yeah, you should take a walk on the
Yeah.
bridge.
This room is ginormous. And I see you got some fish.
Yeah, fish are very popular. fact, we can feed them, so you can see.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we'll get them all together for you.
What type of fish are these?
So these are actually common, well, these are Shubakin goldfish. A lot of people don't realize that that's the full size of a particular type of goldfish, about 5-6 inches.
Yeah, that is the biggest goldfish I've ever seen. How many fish are there in here?
We got 11 big ones, and they're breeding, so we've got a bunch of small ones.
Oh. Anyway, oh yeah, I see a baby over there. And is this mist?
Yeah, the tropical plants really like high humidity. So, especially in the winter, the air outside is extremely dry, so it's constantly pulling humidity from this house. So essentially, between the pond and the mister, we're just constantly pumping moisture into this house to keep these plants happy.
They are the only ones that like a lot of humidity. Okay. As we said, there's a lot of seating. I'm sure students do homework in here.
Yep, I just relax and some fall asleep.
Good nap spots.
I can show you our banana tree is, I should say, a banana plant is about to flower. So this is the blossom, and actually if you look under there, you can see the bananas are starting to form with a little flower at the end of each of them.
So those will be full bananas?
Yeah, well these are plantains, so they don't get as large as the regular bananas that we eat. But yeah, it'll create a chain of them.
Okay.
That'll be the first set. They'll get bigger, and then another part of that flower will open, and there'll be another set and another set.
Oh wow. So is this the entire plant right here?
Yeah, so bananas are interesting because we often call them trees, but actually what they do is that they'll send up this shoot, this will come up, this will flower and fruit, and then this will die, and then another shoot will take over. So these are in a sense just standing in line, waiting for this one to finish fruiting and flowering, and then dying, and then one of these will take over.
How long does that process take altogether?
Yeah, that's quite a long process for these to actually form a cluster. So we're looking at probably, for this one, like a month and a half, yeah.
So one of our viewers says, Rachel, she's lived in Amherst her whole life and she never knew this place existed. So where can people find this, Michael?
The best thing is to find the University Health Center because there's plenty of signage that leads you there, and then just cross the street and we're right there.
And this is on Stockbridge Road?
That's correct, yep.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else in this room that you would like to show?
Probably just 2 specimens over on this side.
Okay.
So this is actually what we call the original gum tree, sometimes for the chicle tree. What they used to do is they used to cut it, and then they would collect the sap, and then they would just spread it out and add some kind of sugar or flavoring to it. And so that was the original gum. 99% of the gum we chew today is actually just a set of chemicals that they mix together that imitates the original gum tree.
So you could make some gum from this tree.
Yep, they still sell, like, I think in Puerto Rico, they still sell the natural gum.
So if you were to plant one of these, do you know how long it would take to grow?
Well, this is probably a good 20 to 30 years old. It's just that it's not hardy. It won't survive in the winter here, so you couldn't really plant it outside and expect it to survive.
So you've got to be patient if you want one of these gum trees. But it is beautiful.
And then this is a really interesting tree. This is cacao, where we get chocolate from. We get actually the flavoring from the seeds. But it's a strange tree because it actually keeps nodules in its bark alive, and then every spring it sends out these tiny flowers here, like this. And actually by the time they're fertilized and form the pod, they're like miniature footballs, about that size, and the pods just hang off the side of the tree.
So what time of year, if people wanted to see those pods, would they have to come by?
Well, let's see. So they're flowering now. They'll need to get fertilized. And so these appear, if the pods set, in the fall.
Okay. Angel from our live feed just asked, is there any place you suggest where she could buy succulents?
The big stores like Lowe's and Home Depot, in the spring, they usually get a big shipment of succulents in. So there's one place you can get them. And then Hadley Garden Center is a nice local nursery on Route 9, and they always have a nice selection of succulents there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, on to the next room. How big is the greenhouse altogether, Michael?
Well, you can see we have 4 smaller houses on each side of the large house, and they're like 20 by 30. And then the large house is probably, I think we're talking 40 by 50 probably. Yep.
And what room is this?
This is the orchid bromeliad house. So these are bromeliads, and these are great plants. What they do is they store water in their leaves. And they basically take care of themselves. If you can just make sure that you fill them with water and give them bright light. These are actually the plants that, in the wild, these actually live up in the trees. They're epiphytes. And so if you can imagine, this is up in the tree, and the roots are clinging to a branch. And these are the plants where tree frogs can actually spend their entire lives in them because they actually contain enough water to keep them alive.
And where could you find a plant like that?
In terms of in nature?
Yes.
Yeah, so Brazil, we're talking about South America, that belt around the equator.
So do the little tree frogs just stay right in the middle?
They
Or
basically can, yeah, usually right in the middle, and usually there's so many insects in tropical environments, they can just wait until something comes along to eat.
these are beautiful.
So. People often ask me what my favorite plant is, and currently it's this one right here.
Oh, wow.
It's Passiflora, which is actually passion fruit vine. So a lot of people know you can get passion fruit drinks, but a lot of people aren't aware of the beauty of the flower that.
And those hang from...
Yep, it's a vine, so vines up. And here's an interesting orchid. With the dendronia in here. Most of our orchids will flower in early spring or in the fall, so that's a good time to come to see some orchids. And I guess air plants are getting more and more popular now, so we have a small collection of air plants.
So does that mean they're just in the air?
Yeah, so these would normally be growing in trees.
Okay.
And so what we can do is we can just mount them on a piece of cork, and we just have to make sure that we water them once a day here.
Yeah, they're cool looking.
And if you give them a little bit of fertilizer, then you can sort of push them along to get them to grow bigger.
Why do you think those are becoming popular? Just because they're hanging?
I think it's just so unique. People are always looking for some unique plant, and those are them. And then I guess we should go to our last house.
Okay.
And it's the Bonsai House. So this collection of bonsai was bequeathed to the university many years ago, and we've got some interesting specimens. We have some smaller specimens over here, and then we have specimens that are 60, 70, 80 years old.
So what is it called again?
Bonsai.
And how do you identify one?
Yeah, so bonsai is just, you can bonsai any type of plant. It's just a question of stunting its growth. So when you stunt any living thing, you basically deny it the nutrients it needs. And so that's essentially what happens here. We do that in a couple ways, and that is, as the tree starts to grow, we keep it in a small pot to confine it. Then in the spring, we'll come by and remove foliage. So that plant has invested energy into that foliage. We're taking it away, so the next time it makes foliage, it'll make it a little bit shorter. And so that's when the stunting comes. If a plant gets a little too vigorous, we'll actually take it out of the pot and cut some of its roots off. So eventually, by doing that, it keeps it at a more stunted height than normally would be. And so if you do that process severe enough, a tree that might have been 30 or 40 feet tall, you've stunted it into one that's 3 feet.
So these could all just be considered miniature trees.
Yes, yep, that's essentially it. One of the things you also do with bonsai is that you will also wire the branches. So as this tree is growing, and probably this is a good example of that, is that this was likely grown from a sapling. If you look at it, you actually have this beautiful curve that comes up and comes this way and comes that way. Now it looks very natural, but a tree doesn't naturally grow that way, so it's very likely that this was actually wired. They put wires on the outside of that young sapling when it was small, and then they bent the wires, and then they got this shape.
To form it that way.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
And it looks very natural, but if you look closer, you realize its branch formation is very well placed, we'll say. So you have one branch here, one branch coming this one, this way, this way, this way. And normally, nature would not be so careful as to place the branches like that. And you can see actually where branches that they didn't want were actually cut off there.
And for viewers just tuning in, we are at Durfee Conservatory doing a walking tour. It's located at UMass Amherst, and it's open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, so definitely come check it out.
This shows you a little bit of the wiring that's used. So that's wrapped around the branch. And then we can actually bend the branch in a way that we want, and then it will actually stay in that position. And then in about a year, we'll come and unwind that wire, but the branch will stay in that way.
Did you wire that one?
That one, yes, yeah.
Yeah, these are really cool. Oh, this is like a miniature Christmas tree.
Yeah. This is interesting. This particular plant has a lemon scent to it.
Oh.
It's a cypress
try it.
with a...
Oh, yeah.
And this is an interesting one. So this was originally a full-size tree. At one point it broke off and just left a stump. And then what the artist did is that they took a little shoot from the roots and worked it up the trunk and then let it create a new canopy. So actually this is all dead, and then this is the only part of this that's alive. But they've worked it so well into the trunk it's hard to even see.
Yeah, I would not have been able to notice.
And then a little bit of history. The original conservatory was actually a wooden structure. And it had some difficulties in terms of stability. A tree fell on it, it had a fire. They tried to repair it as well as they could, but eventually they decided they had to replace it, and so they built this current structure on the same footprint. Fortunately, when they rebuilt it, it was rebuilt out of all steel and aluminum. So this structure will last for decades and decades.
Wow, a tree fell on it.
Yeah, you never plant a tree next to a conservatory. But back then, just still learning, I guess.
Yeah, and it's been here for quite a while, 1867.
We're
Wow.
actually celebrating our 150th this year.
Oh, really?
Yep, this was the poster for the 125th.
Will you have any celebrations?
Yep,
or-
actually we're working on it now, and so, yep, I can't, we're still working on it, so I can't give anything away, but yep, people should look in the fall for how we're going to
Awesome.
celebrate. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely come celebrate 150 years of Durfee Conservatory in the fall. And this is a great place to come if it's cold too, because it's super warm in here all year round. And it's huge. You don't want to miss out because it is very beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Michael.
You're welcome.
Definitely come by Durfee Conservatory if you get a chance. It's located on Stockbridge Road in Amherst. Thanks for tuning in.